thing I really love about doing these library offerings is that it gives me a chance to go back in time and remember what we did in that particular year, which is really fun to do. In '06, it's amazing to think back to that year. It rained so much that spring, and for so long I thought at one point maybe we won't have a crop at all. We're just never going to have bud break, we're never going to have flowering. And I thought, well, we've had such great years from '01 through '05, we could probably survive a year where we had no crop at all. Fortunately, it did stop raining, probably in June, and we had late bud break and late flowering, and had a great heat spell in the third week of July to kind of catch things up. Ended up with a great crop, and we had a fabulous harvest for everything off the mountain, so it ended up being a big success. But another aspect about '06 that's fun to look back on is it was really the first year we had a fully mature crop off the upper 6 block, which is our highest elevation block. One of the better decisions I've made, I think, was at the end of the '03 harvest, which was a very difficult harvest because it was so dry and so warm and so fast, is that we weren't able to harvest the upper 6 Merlot, which it was at the time. It was planted in 1997 to Merlot. We couldn't harvest it in time, and the sugars got way too high. And even without being able to use that upper 6 Merlot, we still had a record Merlot harvest. So after harvest was done and the dust settled, I had the idea that we should graft that over to another varietal. And of course, Cab Franc came to mind because we'd had such great success with the upper 4 block being a single vineyard Cabernet Franc, and we needed more, so we grafted it in the spring of '04. And I'll never forget the first day I walked into the vineyard after the vineyard guys had cut the vines off right below the bilateral split, so there were just stumps sticking up, and it's just a horrible feeling to see those stumps where there had been vines full of life. And I thought, oh my God, I'm a terrible person. I've killed this vineyard. I should go to jail. But it's amazing when you cut that the trunk off right below the split, and then you take an adze and you make a little diagonal slash on either side near the top of that stump, and you put in a little piece of green budwood of the material you want to grow. You wrap it up in white tape. Literally by the next day you can see it growing. It's truly miraculous, which is why I tell people I think vines are sentient beings. They're just amazing. So 2006 was really our first healthy crop off this grafted section. So we had mature rootstock, grafted it in '04, and by 2006 we had a full crop. So, and since then we've had the benefit of having the Cab Franc from both of those blocks, and we're essentially able to double our production of Cab Franc, which is really wonderful. And now that this wine is 15 years old, again, I've said this many times, there's nothing like drinking a wine that's really at its peak. I think in Parker's review of the wine, when it was 2 years old, he said this wine will continue to evolve for 15 years. And now it's about at that age. It's got 2 more years to go before it hits the age of 15, past the age of his review. But this wine is just beautiful right now. It still has the power of its youth, but it's got the expressivity of maturity to go with it. It's just it's a delight to have. So I would take advantage of this. Again, limited offering. I think there's only about 96 bottles available. First come, first serve, and enjoy this special Cabernet Franc. Cheers.